What's going on, guys? My name is Tuck. Welcome back to my channel, and today we're going to be going over a little bit of a loosely formed open discussion about Black Ops Cold War. The open part, because there's a comment section, you guys can feel free to comment on anything you have to say about the game or anything I say in the video. Comments are encouraged. I like feedback. I like chat interaction. I like community interaction. And the loosely part of that is because I have no real structure for this video other than I have a notepad in front of me with things I wrote down. Now, I must note, first thing, I'm not going to sit here and objectively talk about all these issues, or every issue in the game, rather. I'm only going to talk about the issues that I could rattle off right before I recorded this video that have been plaguing me since the game came out. And before we hop into anything else, I'm going to plug my social medias. The gameplay on your screen is just a gameplay. It's there for background, something to watch while I talk. This is from my stream, twitch.tv/whythetuck, linked in the description, along with my Twitter, my Instagram, my TikTok, my Discord, and then all of my team socials are also linked in the description. I would appreciate following me on those to keep in touch with me. Know when I post videos, which at this rate, check back daily, because I have been uploading daily for the past month. And then on Twitch, I stream Fridays through Sundays at 6 p.m. EST. Now let's hop into the actual discussion part of the video. First things first, let's talk about things and give Treyarch credit for things. They actually gave us a game during a pandemic. That's a big round of applause for me. Congrats to the people at Treyarch, and thank you to the people at Treyarch for actually giving us a game within a few days of the initial date that they planned to give it to us. So thank you for that. Second thing, let's talk about things that I wanted to be fixed in Modern Warfare that were actually fixed in this game. First and foremost, 150 health. The time to kill in Modern Warfare 2019 was absurd. I hated it. It was way too quick. 150 health remedies a lot of that issue. 2, bunny hopping. Broken movement mechanics. Bunny hopping, especially at the level I play at, which is like semi-professional. I'm an esports personality. I play a lot of the esports side of the game. I also play with really good snipers, and if you're a good player in general, you understand how the game's mechanics work. Bunny hopping is a broken mechanic. It was annoying to play with. It was a stupid mechanic that I could do. Didn't like it. They fixed it in this game with a jump cooldown. Sick. Thank you. Third thing, slide canceling. Especially in Modern Warfare 2019, the slide canceling in that game was absurd. It broke cameras. It made the game borderline unplayable with how low the tick rate for the servers was. They fixed it in this game. Slide canceling is still a thing, but it is like maybe a tenth of how bad it was in Modern Warfare, in my opinion. Other things I like, there's color in the game. Saturation is such an overlooked detail in video games. Because if you guys have to sit here and think, you play video games, whenever I sit down to play COD, I minimum play for 3 hours. I play for 3 to 6 hours on average every time I sit down to play. If I'm going to be staring at the game for 3 to 6 hours, the game better be fucking pretty. Or at the very least keep it interesting with the colors. They added colors to this game, I like it. Now there's a downside to that. Each map has its own specific theme. Along with the specific themes, the characters you play as have specific themes, and the characters blend into the maps for some reason. If I'm not paying attention, because I play my game on my PC, I have the settings changed a little bit to the lower settings so it runs better with FPS. If I have my settings changed, I sometimes just completely stare at enemies and don't see them because they blend in with the wall. Or their surroundings, excuse me, I had to get a drink. So, along with the colors in the game, one of the downsides is the characters are the same colors, which I understand that's how camouflage works. Doesn't work good for gameplay. Other things they've changed, I know private matches are 20 hertz, but public matches for this game... So for those of you that weren't aware, for most of the year in Modern Warfare 2019, private matches ran at 12 hertz, public matches ran at 20. While this game is better, it's not great. 60 hertz public matches in this game, 20 hertz private matches. Still not ideal, better than Modern Warfare, but the Modern Warfare set the bar pretty low. So that's an improvement I like. It's not where I want it to be, but it's an improvement nonetheless. And then other things they've changed for Modern Warfare. They're actually making changes to this game. Like, the game might not be in a great spot, but they're making changes a week into the game that people are asking for. The MP5, the FFAR, the snipers, even though I don't think the snipers needed nerfed again. The snipers got nerfed. They're making changes. They're being transparent about the changes they're going to make. They're being very transparent about community feedback and how they feel about it. Applaud Treyarch for that. Because Infinity Ward went fucking Bravo 6 going dark on us, and then we didn't hear anything about it until they decided to nerf the MP5 7 months into the game because the Warzone community said the MP5 was broken, as if the multiplayer and pro community was just bitching to bitch about the MP5. So thank you, Treyarch, for actually making changes in the game. Now let's move on to my bullet list of things that I'm going to address as problems, and I'll try my best to offer solutions because that's how this works. If you point out a problem, you should always offer a solution with the problem, even if you're not an expert. Giving just complaints to complain, it's white noise, it doesn't help anybody. If you say something sucks, that doesn't help us fix the problem. So if you guys leave a comment, I suggest also leaving at least a base form solution on how to fix the problem you point out. So let's talk about maps and then guns, because they kind of interplay with each other. The maps in this game... Most of the maps in this game are designed well on paper. Where they flaw at is every map has, one, an annoying quirk that makes the map not fun to play, and then two, the way the maps are designed in this game, they're nothing but long lines of sight and head glitches in power positions, which promotes an AR-heavy playstyle, and it so happens that in this game, the AR class, the rifle class, is the best weapon class objectively. They are better than every SMG in almost every category, except for the category that where you stand right next to somebody, put your gun to the side of their body, pull the trigger, you'll probably win that gunfight with an MP5 or an SMG. But in general, the ARs are so good in this game, there's no reason to use anything but an AR, especially in the competitive meta. The only SMG that's semi-viable is the AK-74U, and in real life, the AK-74U is a rifle caliber weapon, so it's not even a true SMG, so... The best SMG in Black Ops Cold War is an assault rifle, if that says anything about the game's weapon balance. Now, there is hope for that, because as I said earlier, they're making changes. They'll get feedback. People in the game are going to say that the ARs are too good, and then eventually they'll probably agree with us, hopefully. Because the AK right now is ridiculous. You'll see that's what I'm using primarily in the gameplay you're watching. The Krieg is good. I don't feel like it's better than the AK. It's better than the AK in Search and Destroy because it's a more precise weapon, but in general I think the AK is the best gun in the game right now. The XM4 is good. The QDZ is okay. And then the FFAR still has its moments where it's just a meme cannon. Now, the other issues I was talking about, the maps where they have the weird quirks that just aren't good. The map on your screen, Cartel. What's wrong with Cartel? The bushes. Cartel on paper is a great design map. It's a well-designed map. It's well thought out. It has good lanes. It has interesting hotspots where people are always going to be fighting. But then you add the bushes to mid-map, and it just ruins the lines of sight, and people just hide in the bushes, and it's hard to see. It's no fun. Like Robert Bowling said last year with Infinity Ward's decision for the Euphrates Bridge map, where infinite places to hide was a marketing point. Like, no. He said no. Infinite places to hide is not how you promote a map, because it's not a good map design. So Cartel, the bushes ruin it. Miami's a huge map. It's amplified by how huge it is because there's an entire section of the map which is a beach and an ocean that you can go into for some reason. That side of the map ruins Miami. Moscow is a well-designed map. It's probably the most well-designed map, if that makes sense, but then you have these giant-ass spawn points that make the map way too big and ruin the flow. Checkmate. There's no saving Checkmate. Checkmate's horrible. The mid part of Checkmate is such a clusterfuck, and I mean that in the nicest way possible. There's just no saving Checkmate. There's so many angles you have to peek. If you walk out to mid-map, like, I don't recommend ever walking out to mid-map, but if you try to get map pressure towards the middle of the map, you get shot by 6 or 7 different angles. It's no fun. There's also one side of the map that has a power position, like Fortress, and people just don't leave it. It ruins the map flow. There is no map flow. Garrison is a 1-lane map. It's fun for pubs. It'll probably be fun to play in competitive. I don't think it's a bad map. I don't think it's a great map. It's the one map that I don't really have a huge negative thing about it. It is what it is. I enjoy playing it. I don't hate playing it. Armada Strike runs into the issue where it's a completely symmetrical map, and unfortunately on both sides of that symmetrical map, there are single-file doorways that lead to power positions. You walk out of the doors, that leads to people on head glitches. You walk out of the other doors, it leads to a ramp that leads up to where people can head glitch you. And then there's the middle section, which is just an absolute bitch to get people out of. I don't think Armada Strike's a well-designed map. I don't like it for competitive. I hope it gets taken out of competitive. But in general, I don't think it's a good map. Crossroads Strike on paper is a good map, but it has weird spawn points, and I feel like the spawn points on that map are weird because it is a big map for combined arms that they just made smaller and added kill barriers to. And whenever they made the map smaller, they had to fuck with the spawns, and then when you fucked with the spawns, the map changed the way it played compared to the other big map. Same thing with Armada Strike. That runs into the same issue as well, but the spawn points in Armada are kind of just cemented on either side of the ship, so that's whatever. But what other maps are in the game? Is it all the maps? That might be all the maps. I didn't talk about Nuketown because Nuketown is Nuketown. It's been the same map since 2010. Nothing's changed. The only thing that's changed is this game's gun meta, excuse me. And so it's not very fun to try to play aggressively on a map where ARs just pre-aim long lines of sight. Before I jump into the big part of the weapon debate, snipers, let's just touch on tac rifles. The M16's a meme cannon, the AUG is a meme cannon. I don't feel like either of those guns should be able to one burst in a game where there's 150 health. Shotguns, there's no fixing shotguns. They're always going to be annoying as primaries or secondaries. Any gun that has the capability of one-shot killing you is always going to be annoying and unbalanced to some extent. There's no fixing shotguns. To quote Crim6, if you use a shotgun, you're a coward. I stand by that. I support that message. The pistols in this game are kind of too good, but pistols are such a weird thing to try to balance because they're either going to be too good to where they could compete with primary weapons, or they're going to completely suck like Modern Warfare, where basically they're unusable. Pistols are what they are. I don't feel like there's a way to make them better. Don't feel like there's a way to make them balanced. They're just kind of there. Which brings us, I guess, to sniper rifles, which every community in the game has a different thought process on snipers. The competitive community hates it because they're too easy to use. I disagree, but I understand their point. And then the sniping community hates it because they're too hard to use. Which I agree with to an extent, even though I feel like they're going about presenting their criticism in the entirely wrong way. So, if you want to fix the competitive side's problem, which the sniping community wouldn't have an issue with how this is going to be fixed because we've played games before without it, turn off aim assist. The competitive side of the game doesn't complain about snipers as much. So that's my solution for the competitive side. Turn off aim assist on snipers. The competitive side will be happy. The snipers won't mind because we've dealt with it before. It is what it is. We move on. We don't have to hear about that discussion again. How do we make the sniping community more happy with the snipers without ruining the balance of the game? You buff the ADS speed. The base ADS speed needs to be buffed. And then the weapon spread? We'll call weapon spread. We'll call it weapon spread. Basically every time the snipers don't shoot where you aim unless you're completely scoped in. Now, while that has its perks, it's also very annoying when there is a person 3 feet in front of you and you try to pop shot them, but since the game is coded to work the way I mentioned prior, your gunshot doesn't go anywhere near the guy because it's just not coded to do that unless you're fully scoped in. It's annoying. The weapon spread for the snipers needs to be reduced. Decrease the ADS speed, decrease the weapon spread. Take off aim assist. I feel like that's how you balance snipers. Grenade spam and tac spam is annoying, but that comes down to an issue with perks. Why do you unlock Danger Close at level 10, which gets you 2 tacticals and 2 lethal grenades, but then you don't get the counter in general for grenades or tacticals until levels 27 and 32, I think? Which, that's only 17 and 22 levels, but with how slowly you rank up in this game, that's legitimately a few days of playing. Like, not actual, like, a few days as in 48 hours of in-game time, but, like, it's a few days of you hopping on playing the game until you actually unlock the counter so you don't get spammed by nades and lethals. And then to take both of them, you have to run the wild card, because you have to run that wild card anyway. I don't remember what it's called off the top of my head. Perk Greed, maybe? You have to run that one too, because in the tertiary perk spot, perk 3 slot, there are constant UAVs and constant field mics on the ground. Because that's fun, I guess. You can never be off the map until you take Ninja and you take the other perk that hides you from UAVs. I can't remember what it is. I don't think it's Cold-Blooded. It might be Cold-Blooded, but you have to take the perk to hide from UAVs, and then you have to take the perk to hide from field mics. It's very annoying, especially the way kill streaks work in this game. Everybody gets a kill streak for existing. So there is never not a time where there's not a UAV up, or there's never not a time where there's not a field mic up. It's just very frustrating to deal with, because it basically makes both of those perks in both categories, Tac Mask and Flak Jacket, and then the UAV hiding perk and Ninja, it makes them crutches. And by crutch, I mean you have to run those perks to play the game, or you rely on those perks to play the game. That's not well thought out, in my opinion. The easy solution to that would be to just change the way you unlock them. Have danger close not be the first wild card you unlock. Unlock Tac Mask and Flak Jacket sooner. And then that just touches on another topic loosely about the kill streaks, about how, one, they're annoying to get killed by, and B, they're not rewarding because you get them for existing. Like, I think in both these games, which these are both back-to-back matches for my stream, these were they're not the same match, but they're the same map and game mode, right back-to-back. I think I get Chopper Gunners in both these games. Like, do I deserve Chopper Gunners in both of these games? Absolutely not. I finished both games with like a 2.0 KD. I played well. I didn't play well enough to get Chopper Gunners in both games, I'll say that much. TLDR of this entire video, do I think Call of Duty Cold War is a good game? Do I think it's better than Modern Warfare? I think Call of Duty Cold War is a good game. I think it's better than Modern Warfare. There's just a lot of stuff that's really tiny and annoying, but once you add up all the tiny and annoying things, they become a nuisance, and it makes the game less fun to play. And then add in, of course, that there's 7 maps to play. So not only are there annoying things in the game that make the game not fun to play, there are certain times where I play the same map 5 to 7 times in a row because there's just not much else to do. Satellite was the other map I forgot. It runs into the same issue as Miami, where there's just an entire side of the map that's just open. It ruins the gameplay flow because that's just where people go and they don't play the objective. TLDR for that. I don't think Satellite's a good map. Like I said, this is an open discussion. I'd love to hear your guys' thoughts in the comments. I don't really have anything else to say off the top of my head that I can at least think of or that I've wrote down. I guess I can touch on what I want to see from the game. I'm hoping, I know it's probably not going to be the case because the way DLC content works, most of the maps they're going to give us as DLC have already been designed. So I'm hoping that they want to take a different route with the DLC maps than they took with the maps that launch, and that means that they don't do annoying things with the DLC maps. They kind of play it safe. They give us maps that are boring 3-lane maps, for lack of a better term. I don't think 3-lane maps are boring. I think they're good, but boring 3-lane maps is how everybody else describes them. The other maps they're going to give us, I hope they bring back good maps. There's a list somewhere. I can't remember what the list is, but I've known some of the maps on the list are going to be ones we've had before and remade. I hope they give us those in a timely manner to save us from the fatigue right now with the map choices, rather. I hope the DLC maps are good. I hope the DLC weapons aren't broken. And then I hope the cosmetics are good, and I hope they continue to support the esports side of the game with constant updates and attention and stuff for League play, which I hope we also get. League play is a must. And then that touches on skill-based matchmaking. There's nothing we can do about skill-based matchmaking. It is what it is. Skill-based matchmaking isn't a good thing. They need to give us proper outlets for competitive, because a company, Activision and Infinity Ward, and maybe Treyarch to an extent, for a company that appeals to such a casual demographic and doesn't pander to esports as much as they should, it doesn't make a lot of sense to me that they put skill-based matchmaking in casual matches. Like I said, it's whatever, it is what it is. There's nothing we can do about it as a community other than just hoping that they stop putting it in the game. But with that said, that's my entire list. That's all the thoughts I can think of. Hope to read the comments and get some thoughts from you guys. Hope to hear you guys' thoughts on what I've said. I would appreciate it if you guys would leave a like on the video, subscribe if you're new. Always turn that bell on. Stay tuned for new uploads, which is going to be soon, probably the day after you're watching this. And I'm just going to let the rest of this gameplay roll, so it might be another 5 minutes of video if you guys want to stick around and watch. But until next time, I'll see you. Peace. Didn't hit that guy one time? Sick.
Hostile care package inbound.
Behind me. Is the guy shooting my body? Hope not.
Hostile spy plane established overhead.
Sentinel requesting spy plane tasking.
Hardpoint contested.
Spy plane established overhead. We are heading enemy location.
Killed him.
Spy plane mission timeline halfway down.
Hardpoint identified.
Fuck.
Hostile spy plane established overhead.
Give them hell, guys.
Moving to engage cruise missile.
Hardpoint is secure.
Nice. That's tough, dude.
One by.
Hardpoint identified. Hostiles have captured the hardpoint.
Cool. Peek me right then, bro.
Throwing grenade. He's gone. Field mic running.
Hardpoint is secure. Almost there. Hold fast, people.
Field mic.
Hardpoint contested. We've lost the hardpoint. Hostile care package inbound.
Where the fuck did that even come from?
Hardpoint located.
Enemy destroyed.
Hostiles have captured the hardpoint. Enemy counter spy
Enemy
plane
appears
inbound.
KIA.
Hostile artillery targeting active. Net call. Incoming
Counter spy
artillery.
plane sighted.
Hostile spy plane established overhead. Hardpoint locked down.
Incoming. Enemy
Contesting
throwing
hardpoint.
Sentinel.
It's nowhere near me.
Ceasefire. Friendly target. Hardpoint identified.
Chopper gunner awaiting orders.
Hostiles have captured the hardpoint.
Deploy chopper gunner on my grid.
This is Viper 1-2. We have the ordnance you ordered. Hardpoint is secure. Hardpoint lost. Enemy appears KIA. Hardpoint locked down. Hardpoint lost. Hardpoint is secure. CIA, we're almost out of time.
Spy plane available for tasking.
Viper 1-2, multiple hostiles eliminated. Hostile engagement. Mission timeline, 50% Mission area secured. You made JSOC proud.
That's it. They are done.